Today we are talking with Stroom. Very interesting stuff. This is an area that I've peeked into, but not fully, explored this interesting ecosystem when it comes to. I know it involves Bitcoin, of course, but yeah, of course, we'll go into the details for that. Rustik, let me know if that's the name you want to go by. If that's totally fine. Let me know what you want me to call you, but feel free to give us an intro to yourself and a bit of your background first.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can call me Ross or Rustik. So I'm crypto since 2017. Firstly, I worked for a long time in Bitcoin ecosystem, and I worked at Bitfury. And Bitfury was one of the biggest Bitcoin miner, and also developed their software products. And I worked at Lightning Network research group. And I spent this time researching Lightning Network, Bitcoin ecosystem, and so on. And in 2020, I switched to DeFi ecosystem and joined Lido Finance as first product manager. And on white paper stage, worked there till the first billion in TVL. Frankly, the first staking transaction at Lido Finance was made by me, because it was a funny situation when we deployed it at night, and I needed to test it before the global announcement. Yeah, so worked there for 1 year, and later, idea of Stroom came to my mind, and Stroom is a combination of my previous experiences in liquid staking at Lido and in Lightning Network and Bitcoin ecosystem. So yeah, that's how we started. I pitched my idea to Slava and invited him to become a CTO of Stroom. Yeah, and that's how we started.
Awesome. No, I like that, taking bits and pieces from your background to create something new and keep driving things forward. And now I see we actually have Slava up. So yeah, feel free, Slava, to give us an introduction to yourself as well as a bit of your background.
Yeah, hello everyone. Sorry I had some technical issues with my Twitter app. So my name is Slava. I'm CTO. I love solving technical math problems or logical tasks. So I have a technical background. I finished the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology. I'm actually from Ukraine, but we had a program where we studied there. And then I finished Stony Brook University at New York. My degree was applied mathematics and statistics. So I love math. I love solving difficult problems, and I find in crypto a lot of difficult problems. And it's super interesting to solve them. So I had, as Ross already said, I start my journey in crypto from working at Bitfury Group, where we were doing research for Lightning Network. So Lightning Network paper, it's actually a second paper that I read about crypto. First paper was, of course, Bitcoin. And I truly believe in Lightning Network technology because it's really a super elegant solution to scalability. And it's really, the potential of this technology is very huge. So when the Ross came to me and pitched the idea about Stroom, I thought, that's super cool. So I will be working on this.
No, that's very exciting. And I think myself and many others are keen on learning more about the intricacies of the Lightning Network. And very interesting background. I don't, at least I haven't in my case, come across a lot of people where they're love math, right? Myself, I'm not the biggest deep dive tech related person. I do my best to understand everything. But for those in the varying audience, there may be a few points where I may sometimes just ask you guys for explanations of certain terms and phrases if it arises, and it may be something not a lot are familiar with, just in between the questions and etc. So we can kind of get everybody on board. But yeah, very interesting background, very cool stuff. I'm very excited to learn about Stroom. So let's just go ahead with a simple starter question. Can you give us your best, and feel free to answer this at will between the two of you. Your choice, totally. Give us your best intro into what is Stroom Network. What is the basis of it? What is the most simple understanding of Stroom?
Yeah, like the very simple explanation is, I think, like a Lido for Bitcoin. And yeah, so this is liquid staking for Bitcoin, and we are staking it on Lightning Network, because Lightning Network is a layer 2 solution when you can use your liquidity to route the payments, collect some fees, and earn rewards. And yeah, so this is the only Bitcoin staking protocol when you can earn rewards in Bitcoins, not like in tokens of other chains or native tokens of L2s and so on. Yeah, and is that liquid staking also we provide the user with liquid token. So at MVP stage, we plan to launch it on Ethereum. So it will be some similar to WBTC, but with rewards. And later also we plan to add support of Bitcoin L2s, Bitcoin rollups, and other ecosystems.
Okay, very cool. So this is a kind of bigger exploration into the Bitcoin liquid staking area. So if we were going to go into details around this and we were to look at Lightning Network, for example, could we kind of go into some of the finer details on what Lightning Network is, how it does things better for Bitcoin, maybe some of the more details around there?
So Lightning Network is very different from others layer 2s, because usually layer 2, it is another blockchain or some network similar to blockchain, which sits on top of layer 1. However, Lightning Network is actually not a blockchain at all. It's a set of payment channels, and each participant has open payment channels with some other participants, and you can think about it as a network. And on this network, you can find a path to anybody on this network. So you don't need to have a channel with everyone. You just can find the path on this network and send the payment along that path, and that payment will arrive to the final destination. And all nodes that you used as intermediaries, they collect some fee. So that's how some like similar mechanic to the proof of stake arises for Bitcoin, but it's different. It's not a proof of stake. It's different, but like in general, you put some liquidity in those payment channels, and that liquidity is working for like approving transactions of other users, validating the transactions of other users. And and you rewarded for doing that by collecting some small amount from the transaction in form of payment fee.
Okay, so the users are able to earn the network revenue from Lightning Network without having to do all of the complicated portions.
Actually, in order to earn and it to be profitable, you actually need to do a lot of complicated things.
Okay.
You need to, if you do it by yourself, if you run the Lightning Network node, then you need to manage your channels. You need to set up fee level, and that involves a lot of analytics and mathematical stuff. So so the beauty of Stroom comes from that we take this technical burden from users, and we manage it by ourselves or by nodes that are participating in Stroom protocol. So it's similar to Lido. Yeah, sorry, say again.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's similar to Lido in that sense that when you stake with Lido, you don't need to run the validator by yourself. Someone else doing this job for you. So the same is here. So the user puts Bitcoins and it working in Lightning Network earn yields, but someone else doing this complicated stuff for you.
I think that's perfect, especially in the broader ecosystem that we currently have with a lot of users. A task like doing all of this without something like Stroom, obviously, like you mentioned, is incredibly complicated. So simplifying this process is very important, I think, and very nice. So when it comes to now, I know on the main page, obviously, it's at what is Stroom? Stroom DAO functions as a financial protocol. You guys connect Bitcoin with Lightning Network, including EVM-based blockchains like Ethereum. So is this within the broader goal of kind of bridging that gap between Bitcoin and Ethereum? I know with that being a mission, it's kind of a tougher area. How do you feel you are currently in that goal and mission, and what maybe are some other plans you guys have when it comes to this larger, broader goal?
Yeah, so we plan to start with Ethereum because if the user receive a liquid token, so should be some use cases and protocols where to use it, right? Yeah, and and currently DeFi ecosystem in Ethereum is the biggest one, and it's and the biggest demand from the users is to have this liquid token on Ethereum side. So if we compare, for example, WBTC and other bridge tokens to Ethereum, so it's a total market cap is more than 10 billions. So we see that users want to use their Bitcoins on Ethereum side. And that is why we decided to start with integration with Ethereum. And as a second stage, we plan to integrate with EVM compatible Bitcoin rollups, because it will be easy for us, because it's the same technologies, and also will provide a solution for Bitcoin only people who want to stake their Bitcoins but don't want to use any other chains or ecosystems. Yeah, and after that also we plan to add other blockchains like Solana or Near or some Ethereum L2s. Yeah, and also want to add that we also want to integrate our liquid token with restaking protocols, so Bitcoin restaking protocols or restaking protocols on Ethereum, like EigenLayer, because we will have interest-bearing token on the Ethereum side, and technically it is suitable for these protocols as well.
Okay, very cool. So lots of plans to kind of integrate into different areas, give users more options, but at the same time, you want to make things comfortable for the kind of Bitcoin maximists as well that don't want to go outside of the network.
Right.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So looking at this and thinking about this from a general user perspective, or someone listening right now that might be interested or might have some Bitcoin, of course, if we were to simplify the question into why should someone stake their Bitcoin? What do you think are the biggest benefits, and why should they do it with Stroom?
So the quick answer, I think that using your Bitcoin, not just holding, you can cover more how to say it, cover more use cases, and you also can earn more, because when you hold your Bitcoins, you just waiting for the raise of the price and something like that. And but using staking, you can first of all have the same Bitcoin exposure, plus adding routing fees from Lightning Network to that. By staking with Stroom, this is the answer why you need to stake with Stroom, because this is the only staking protocol with rewards in BTC. And additionally to that, also you can capture the DeFi yield using your a liquid token on DeFi ecosystems.
Okay, being the only one with rewards, I think that's definitely a pretty large plus. I didn't actually realize that. That's very cool to know. Now, talking a bit about, I think the main point there, you are correct on, using your Bitcoin rather than just sitting on it and holding it, which is what I think probably 90% of us are pretty used to, right? Unless you are I would say, pretty avid, day trader, week trader, et cetera, right? I would say that there's a lot more trading and less holding done during more exciting times, like right now, for example, where we did see the rise of Bitcoin. Now, I'm curious with the staking mechanism that you guys have, if we can just maybe go into a few more details around that. Is it locked time? Are amounts customizable? Is it more kind of free in that sense, up to the user? Say they were staking it for a few months, and then things started to get they started to rise. They were like, oh, I want to take it out and sell it. Is that an easy process for that user?
Yeah, so philosophy behind our project is that we want to keep the project to be very transparent, and we don't want to be another Celsius. So that maintaining the peg is super crucial for our project. And the only way to maintain the peg is actually to allow your token be redeemable one-to-one to Bitcoin and without any restrictions. So we keep this philosophy, and we really allow users to withdraw their Bitcoins at any point of time they decide. And so we preserve some portion of liquidity, not in Lightning Network channels, but in some fund for payouts. And we want to have around 10, 15, 20% of the liquidity to sit there just to process the payouts of users. However, if some situation happens and a lot of users want to withdraw their Bitcoins, we can do that. We just need to close Lightning Network channels for that, but closing the channels will take 30 minutes, like regular Bitcoin transaction, and 3 confirmations. So we can process a payout in 30 minutes, in case if you need the closed channel. But if not too many users doing withdrawals, then we process it immediately.
Okay, so usually it is, within, obviously immediately you can withdraw, etc. That freedom is very important. And if things are crazy at the same time, you can still get it done in 30 minutes. I like that outlook. I think it's important that, we as an entire space, kind of do go forward with more of these outlooks on the freedom to, withdraw, deposit, etc. During your own time. It is obviously, I think, a big part of decentralization. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I think that's very interesting. And now talking a little bit about StBTC, would you be able to kind of go over, some of the different utilities and potentials for this as well? Kind of just maybe a bit more details around that.
Yeah, so typical utilities will be similar to liquid stake derivatives, and the first obvious use case is pools on DEXs. So we plan to launch pool on Uniswap and Curve, and if you want just to put somewhere your Bitcoins and make some yields, you can just be a liquidity provider to DEXs. And the second option will be some integrations with lending protocols. So, for example, you will be able to stake or to put your StBTC as a collateral to lending protocol, borrow some stables or some other cryptocurrencies, and use it in different way. Yeah. And the third option, I think you can restake StBTC with restaking protocols. Yeah, so I think this is the main 3 use cases.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, or just you can keep your liquid stake token and see how the balance is growing and how much rewards you earned at Lightning.
Nice. I mean, yeah, even the simplest form is always fun, right? So just a quick question when it comes to obviously the token there that we just mentioned. I'm on the main site, of course. I like to just browse at the same time, kind of experience things as we chat. Now, on the main page, it does say Stroom DAO functions as a financial protocol. I'm curious, is there governance related to the token currently, or is that something you guys are planning on?
Yeah, so we believe that the best way to manage such protocol is a DAO, and so we keep some traditional things for DAO, like the voting for upgrading of the protocol. So that's what we plan to do in the mainnet. And also, we are thinking about implementing such things like there is like one specific about our project that we later we will have the several Lightning Network node providers, and actually you can put any amount of Bitcoin liquidity in these nodes. Like to the contrary, on the Ethereum staking, you only can put 32 Ethereums in one validator, and it's actually fixed. Yeah, but in Lightning you can put 1,000 Bitcoins in one single node. So the open question is how to decide which node is better, and how much Bitcoins allocate to that node or to that node. So we think that the governance voting will be super nice to implement here. So the more votes one node have, so the more liquidity can be delegated to that node. So these simple mechanics, like open market mechanics, will drive more liquidity to more efficient nodes, which can provide higher APY. That's one thing. And also, we plan to implement something like Flywheel's integration with Galxe and with some maybe lending platforms where you like have some liquidity mining, and you kind of like voting about how this liquidity mining is distributed between different pools where your token is integrated, and that's kind of creating this like bribing mechanics, if you're familiar with it. Yeah.
Yes.
And then so you can then like bribe each other, and let's create a flywheel dynamics in this custom integration with different other protocols.
Real quick, actually, I'm currently familiar with bribing, etc. Would you mind going into just a little bit more details around that for the listeners that might not know what you mean when you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So I think the bribing was pioneered by Curve, or at least it's the most prominent use case for
I believe
bribing.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have so you can delegate some like liquidity in some pools, but then they have some portion of rewards that are distributed to that pools based on voting that is done by governance participants, by governance token holders. So if these governance token holders vote for that pool will receive more rewards. And so that creates actually for the liquidity providers incentive to bribe these governance token holders to delegate more votes to that particular pool. And that's essentially that creates a revenue stream for governance token holders. And the real cool dynamic happens when there is a pool that is like, for example, Curve pool integrated into, I don't know, for example, some Frax ETH token is integrated in that pool. And then, so that's like pool belongs to two protocols simultaneously. And then each protocol trying to bribe each other on that pool. Yeah, and that creates like a flywheel dynamics, which is a really super interesting thing.
No, thank you. I appreciate the explanation. That was perfect. It is a really fun way for things to happen. It's exciting when it gets to that point. And it is pretty cool, and it's really lasted the test of time, especially Curve in particular, being around for so long.
Yeah, now, Curve is really a nice project.
Yeah, I agree. And so continuing on, you mentioned something in particular. You talked about integrations. This leads me kind of to the thought around the overall, obviously, Bitcoin ecosystem, right? Beyond Stroom, there's obviously many things going on around you. would you be able to kind of cover maybe any interesting collaborations or partnerships in the ecosystem with Stroom as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so just need to mention that for a long time we was fully focused on the product side, and just like a few weeks ago we launched our testnet, and currently like actively building community and working on integrations. Yeah, so and first of all, like currently we are in negotiations with Citra protocol, so it's like a EVM compatible Bitcoin rollup. So yeah, and it will be a very nice integration for us, because we will keep the liquid token of staked Bitcoin in Bitcoin ecosystem. And yeah, so this is like a very great that these projects appear now in ecosystem. Also in Bitcoin, we have some room for cooperation with other L2s, because they are also very interested in TVL on their side. And our derivative as a liquid stake token counts as a TVL, not just breached assets. So yeah, so we're also discussing with them these integrations, and also restaking protocols as well. So it's also additional volume for them and additional use cases for us. Yeah, but speaking about some more DeFi mechanics, I think on the Bitcoin side, they still at early stage. So yeah, but like they're constantly developing, and we plan like also to integrate our liquid token to DEXs and lending protocols in the future.
And one thing I want to add, sorry for interruption.
No worries.
Yeah, but super important collaboration that will happen in the future. It's when Lightning Labs, the company that stands behind Lightning Network, they will add a stablecoin in Lightning Network. So in that sense, Lightning Network will become even more usable for payments. Because you can choose not only Bitcoin to pay for coffee or whatever. You also will be able to pay with USDT or USDC, and definitely we're going to integrate that stablecoin into our protocol as well.
Oh wow! Okay, very cool. Do you know if they've mentioned a time frame on that, or is it just kind of up in the air?
I don't remember exact timeline, but I know that this protocol that they're building, it's already in alpha version, so developers can already start testing it, and even someone can do some small projects in production. But however, they don't recommend to do that because they're still working on it. But the timeline is somewhere by the end of this year, definitely by the end of this year.
Okay, very cool. So definitely an exciting year. So yeah, I appreciate that little bit of information. That's a fun one. And now speaking about testing, of course, you mentioned the testnet. Let's kind of go over what that means for Stroom. What users can expect. I know obviously, as you're here with us today, you've been putting together this testnet campaign on Galxe as well. Could you kind of go over the details of that and how you would recommend a user start getting involved within the Stroom community?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so like we plan this testnet on multi-stage basis. So the first stage we launched just a staking solution, but with one validator, and we plan to add decentralized set of validators in a few weeks. So like it will be like an additional step. After that, we also plan to implement few enhancements of security and add like a full integration with Lightning Network. And at that stage, we plan like to switch from testnet to the mainnet. So like currently we are in the beginning of our testnet, and yeah, if you want to participate, so feel free to go to Galxe website and follow our page and participate in our campaign. So also we reward users with points at the moment. Yeah. So and like all your feedback and all your maybe reports of your experience participating in it, very valuable for us. So yeah.
No, of course. I think that processes like this are super important, and I'm glad we can help you along in that process. I've pulled open the testnet page on Galxe myself. Yeah, very, very exciting stuff. 18,000 participants in the community portion, 26,000 on the daily faucet visit. Yeah, I hope that it's a really positive process for you. And for those listening right now as well, very simple to get involved with. Just head over to the Stroom space. Yeah, you can receive points for obviously joining in with the different tasks around the Stroom community and the Twitter, of course, as well. Get points for visiting the testnet, visiting the website, being involved in the different portions. You can also refer your friends as well. So if you have a friend that you think would be interested with Bitcoin liquid staking, definitely get them involved. Send them the campaign, let them test it out, have some fun. It's also a better learning experience, I think, as well. So very exciting stuff. And now my next question for you around this would be, so obviously being involved in this right now, you're doing loyalty points for users. What can they expect long-term from this when it comes to the Stroom community for being an early testnet user, being involved early on? What kind of benefits would they see later on? If so, if you can let us know today. If not, I know that's totally fine. I just got to ask these important questions for the community, right?
Yeah. So for we plan to continue our campaigns till the mainnet launch. So and we expect mainnet launch summer this year. Yeah. So and but this is the general answer. And active early adopters of the protocol for sure will be rewarded, and appreciate it from our side as well.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. I know there are many that love grinding out things like this. They love getting involved. So very, very exciting. It's good to know that it's going to continue on. So those that are participating in the current campaigns right now, you can expect more to come for sure. Very, very nice that you guys did, I think, take a bigger focus on the product first, like you mentioned, and then kind of have now recently kind of started deep diving into the community aspects. How kind of has that been for you so far when it comes to this? Do you feel like it's been a very rewarding feedback experience? And where would you recommend a user go today when it came to Stroom? Would you recommend they start on the website, join the Discord? Are there anywhere you'd like to send them in particular?
So I can answer from the technical standpoint. We actually discovered some interesting bugs that we missed because of users. Because when a lot of users try different things, sometimes they do something that you did not expect them to do. And that's how you discover something that you need to fix. So it definitely had been super rewarding for us because we battle tested our software and fixed everything that was discovered by users. So it's really super helpful for us. Regarding the resources, I would direct users to our blog webpage, where we have some brief explanation of the protocol itself and some guides how to participate in the testnet and what we expect what we expect from users and what you can do on the testnet. So definitely read our blog, and the many questions that you can find it's answered in our blog.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. I'm very excited to see where this goes as well. And I'm very excited for the remainder of the campaigns around the testnet, obviously leading up to mainnet. So for everyone listening, definitely go check that out. Make sure you follow Stroom on Twitter as well. Go check out the blog. Engage, read, and learn. I think it's sometimes these things can be very overwhelming. But I think once you just break it down, take it piece by piece, it's such an exciting piece in the larger crypto ecosystem, especially being based around Bitcoin, obviously being, kind of the start of everything, right? It's so cool to see this, different ecosystem developing and growing. And so, yeah, I commend you guys on the hard work around this and the excitement that it brings to everybody. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking the time to join us as well. My final question for you would be, do you just have any final words for those listening today?
Yeah, thank you for invitation. And the final words is follow us on Twitter and Discord, and we will share a lot of exciting updates in coming weeks and months. Yeah, and also I think that currently it's a very good time to understand Bitcoin better, and very good time to participate in all exciting projects on the early stage. Yeah, so I think currently we see the exciting times in Bitcoin ecosystem and at crypto at all.
I completely agree. I share the sentiment. It's very exciting. Appreciate you taking the time to join us as well. Very nice to chat. Looking forward to everything to come. Thank you to all those listening as well. Appreciate you guys taking your time. Go do some research, go have some fun, go participate in the Stroom Testnet campaign, and maybe learn something new. Thank you again. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And thank you for all users that came to listen.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. Talk soon.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye-bye.